It was time for me to conclude my short stay in Singapore, where I got to see for myself some of the city's breathtaking structures from Jewel Changi Airport to Marina Bay Sands. What's more is I got to spend time with my very supportive subscribers, Leonard, Andrew, and Angelique, and having a grand time with them, making travel plans over coffee, and dining out at different cafes. And with the time I have before my flight, I just had to take one more dip with my friends at the world's highest swimming pool. All of this before I head off to Changi Airport for my flight back to Manila. And my journey begins the moment I left Marina Bay Sands to hop on a train that'll take me to the best airport in the world. Before I knew it, I found myself wandering around Singapore Changi Airport's Terminal 3. It's a huge terminal, but this isn't where I want to hang out. I wanted to visit the airport's newest pride called Jewel, and to get there, I just needed to take a short ride onto one of the airport's SkyTrains. Transiting between terminals using the SkyTrain is free of charge, and I recommend you give it a try as it passes inside Jewel and offers a fantastic view of what's outside and most especially what's inside the massive steel and glass structure. Now, getting inside Jewel Changi Airport is like being inside a huge mall, with huge being an understatement. What makes it unique is that it houses the world's tallest waterfall in the middle of a massive glass dome. No other place in the world houses such captivating sight that travelers like me would stop from time to time to savor the awesome sight of this masterpiece. Located between Terminals 1, 2, and 3, with Terminal 1 having a direct access to it, Jewel is also linked to Terminals 2 and 3 via SkyTrain and pedestrian bridges. Housing the world's largest and tallest waterfall called the Rain Vortex, Jewel lures every visitor with its spectacular view during the day and a stunning 360-degree light and sound show during the night. And just as I had enough of Jewel's major attraction, I got amazed with something I just saw above me. There were people literally walking on nets high above the ground. Now I wonder if anyone I know would want to go walking around near the ceiling like this, but it sure gives a thrill for visitors looking for adventure. In my opinion, the Skynets, as it is called, is definitely not for the faint of heart. More to Jewel's attraction is a petal garden, where one can enjoy the sight of seasonal floral displays. And for those wanting to have their own quiet time over drinks, bars and cafes are also available at the topmost level of Jewel. What's nice about Jewel Changi Airport is that locals and passengers alike can freely visit the place to do their meetups with friends, go shopping, or simply just to relax and find peace while enjoying stunning views of this nature-themed entertainment and retail complex. For passengers heading or leaving Singapore, a visit to this place is highly recommended, as Jewel surely offers an uplifting experience, presenting a traditional retail complex combined with breathtaking sceneries of flora and fauna, all under one giant glass dome. You'll be glad you didn't miss this out. Speaking of where nature meets retail, I head off to explore the business side of Jewel, where there's plenty of shops and restaurants that can be found at every level. Jewel houses both local and international brands, as well as an 800-seat cinema and a 130-room hotel. With all those facilities offered, passengers can have an option of staying here for a few hours or perhaps overnight, just exploring this magnificent Singaporean landmark at their own pace. As I continued on to the lower levels, I find myself surrounded by even more dining and shopping outlets that seem to go endless as I went along further. Still, it doesn't mean there's nothing else to see if you're in the basement. It's here where you can find where all the water goes, into a thick acrylic funnel which prevents it from splashing over the area. And since you're shielded from getting wet, you're free to have photos next to it the way visitors do so while enjoying the place. One more thing I like in Jewel is having an early check-in lounge, where you can check your bags so you don't need to carry your luggage while walking around. I find this very helpful and convenient, as all I'll be carrying with me as I do my sightseeing is simply my boarding pass. My time exploring Jewel is soon over, and with my boarding pass on hand, I simply walk across a few steps to Terminal 1 where I find my way into the departure hall. No need to stop by the check-in counters as I already did that earlier at Jewel. All I gotta do is clear immigration and head off to the gates. Now once I've done that, I simply can't help exploring the airport some more. There's simply so much to do, from plane spotting, all the way to crew spotting, and even more plane spotting. There are also interesting places in the airport that many don't know, like quiet spots where one can watch planes in the open air. More to that, there's a swimming pool at the rooftop of this terminal where I needed to check out to see if it's worth taking a dip at this place, and if it does offer a good view of planes while doing so. Too bad I didn't bring my swimming trunks with me. After doing some walking, I needed to find a place where I could rest for a bit, and as an elite member of Philippine Airlines frequent flyer program Mabuhay Miles, I get to access its partner lounge SATs. It's during these times that I find the program's perks very helpful, as I get a quiet place to settle and dine in buffet style, all for free. What's more is that I can also use their shower rooms to freshen up before my 3-hour flight to Manila. I think I need the shower so bad kasi kanina pa ako pawis na pawis. Okay. Now the shower rooms here may not be the best, but for someone like me who badly need to freshen up over a quick shower, this place for me is 7th heaven. Oh, this way. Soon as I'm clean and fresh, I help myself to some snacks, opting for something more simple like cold cuts and cheeses since I'll be eating again on the plane. For now, it's peace and quiet for me as I savor my time at the lounge. Our aircraft finally arrives, and it didn't take long for boarding process to begin. It's a late afternoon flight, and in this schedule and route, PAL usually deploys an A321 aircraft. Now I don't really mind flying on a small plane as long as I feel comfortable and cared for in the hands of PAL's crew members. I'm seated at 72A, and seeing an empty cabin ahead of me makes it seem like a long walk all the way to the back of the plane. And while there are no passengers around as early as now, I quickly drop off my bag to visit the rear galley and interview a crew member, beginning with a few questions to break the ice.
Pang ilan leg na today?
Second
2
leg
legs?
lang, sir.
Ah, 2 legs sa pag-regional?
Maligan lang pag-regional.
Ah, okay. Matagal ka na rin sa PAL, sir?
4 years, sir.
Ah, 4 years. Ah, sa ibang mga 4 years. Sila, ano, Katigrero batch mo?
Hindi ko lang maalala, sir.
Ah, gano'n.
Pero batch 15 ako, sir.
Ah, di ba mahirap pag sa guys para mag-apply? Is it really tough?
Medyo din.
Exams ba dumadali sa kanila?
Hindi naman, sir, eh. Usually,
Marami.
the height talaga.
Ah, height.
Height.
Okay.
Yung pa lang, height pa lang, medyo ano man nakagad yun, sir. Basurahan nakagad na rin.
Ah, gano'n. Okay, naka-sort out na agad.
Okay.
Tapos,
After nun, sir, makapasa ka man, pagdating sa medical, yung weight.
may weight pa.
Yes.
kailangan proportion.
Yes, sir. Weight.
Body.
Dapat proportion yung height and weight mo, sir. After nun, yung sa mata pa,
Ah, kailangan.
at least 20-30.
Required ba sa mga applicants na makapag parang flight attendant school ba yun? Hindi naman.
Hindi naman, sir. No need. Actually, magti-training ka naman for 3 months, I think.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Mahirap.
Mahirap, sir. Kasi,
Balita ko na uubos daw kayo.
yes, sir.
unti-unti.
Pagka ang passing grade kasi is 90%. So, sa 10 question, isa lang dapat ang malito.
Eh, kailangan ba magaling ka mag-English? Hindi naman.
Hindi naman, sir.
But kasi may mga tanong yung mga subscribers ko na kung anong masasabi mo kaya para sa kanila, kung may message ka para sa kanila, anong pwede mo sabihin sa mga teenagers na nag-aspire?
Nag-aspire? Ayun lang. Yung weight, yun nga, sir.
Yung weight, hindi pa rin ito matama. Hindi rin pwede masyadong payat.
Yes, sir. Hindi rin masyadong payat. Then, dapat talaga yung sa height proportion. Then, yung ano lang, sir. Unang-una is attitude talaga. Yes.
You think yung mga happy-go-lucky ngayon, lulusot?
Ako malabo yun, sir.
Kailangan talaga disiplinado talaga.
Kailangan, sir.
Okay. Sige. Thank you, sir.
Well, that's one thing I like about PAL crew members. Cheerful and accommodating whenever I ask them for some insights. Meanwhile, as the cabin begins to fill up with passengers, I settle in my seat so as not to get in the way of people coming in. And once the door has been closed, safety demo shortly follows. Our aircraft then finds its way to the runway, and once set, the sound of roaring engines is heard and we're taking off for Manila. We were soon airborne, though it kinda got some passengers worried as our ascent was quite shaky as we passed through the clouds. However, things got better afterwards and crew members started service by handing out immigration and customs declaration forms, which I quickly filled up as I had nothing much to do for now. In-flight meals followed, and you guessed it, with a special meal I ordered, I was served ahead of the others. Again, I ordered Hindu meal as I appreciate how tasty it can get with all the spices infused on this dish. Now adding ginger ale as my drink to go along with it makes me one content passenger at the back of the plane. Now we're not done just yet. Just before everyone's finished with their meals, along comes a surprise, an ice cream treat for dessert. With a flavor of salted caramel. With a stuffed tummy and around 2 hours to go, I tried to get some nap after all the activities I did throughout the day. Next thing I know, we were soon descending and crew members were walking around to prepare the cabin for landing. After spending 3 days in Singapore, it's back to Manila for me, back home and back to work the next day. Like many passengers, I'm eager to disembark, but I gotta wait for my turn to do so.
Hello. Sir, bye-bye. Hi. I'm doing vlogs, ah. Bye-bye. So this concludes my travel from Singapore to Manila. So alam niyo na yung mangyayari. We'll pass through immigration and then go home. So anyhow, thank you very much for watching. I hope you learned and enjoyed my travel video this time, and abangan niyo susunod. Thank you and ingat. Bye-bye.